Marco Rodriguez thought December 15th would be just another Tuesday, another shift delivering packages across the city, another day closer to paying off his mother's medical bills. He was wrong, because at exactly 9:47 p.m., Marco would make a delivery that would change his life forever. A delivery to Warehouse 34 on the East Side docks, a delivery that was never supposed to happen. This is the story of an innocent man caught in a world he never asked to enter. A world where one wrong turn means there's no turning back. Let me tell you about Marco. 28 years old, lived in a small apartment in the Bronx with his younger sister, Sophia. His mother, Carmen, was in a nursing facility battling stage 3 cancer. The medical bills were crushing. Even with insurance, Marco was drowning in debt. $73,000 and counting. His delivery job with Fast Track Logistics paid $15 an hour. It wasn't much, but Marco was a hard worker. He'd take every extra shift, every overtime opportunity. His coworkers called him the machine because he never stopped, never complained, just worked. Marco had a clean record, never been arrested, never even got a speeding ticket. He was the kind of guy who helped elderly neighbors carry groceries, who volunteered at the community center on weekends. The kind of guy who believed if you worked hard and played by the rules, everything would work out. He was about to learn how naive that belief was. Tuesday evening, Marco was finishing his route when his dispatch radio crackled to life. "Rodriguez, you there?" It was Tommy, the night dispatcher. "Yeah, Tommy, just dropped off my last package in Queens, heading back to depot. Got one more for you, rush delivery. Client's willing to pay triple rate for tonight." Marco hesitated. He was exhausted. 15 hours on his feet. But triple rate meant an extra $200. That was groceries for 2 weeks. That was part of his mother's prescription copy. "What's the address?" Marco asked. "Warehouse 34, East River Docks, industrial area. Client says bring the package to the side entrance. Someone will meet you there." "What's in the package?" "Does it matter? It's sealed, probably legal documents or something. Client's some import-export business. They use us all the time for rush stuff." Marco thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. "Send me the details, I'll take it." That decision, those 3 seconds, that's where everything changed, but Marco didn't know that yet. He stopped by the depot, picked up the package. Medium-sized box, maybe 20 pounds, sealed with heavy tape. Shipping label said, Apex International Trading Warehouse 34, Dock 7. Nothing seemed unusual, nothing felt wrong. Marco loaded it into his van and headed toward the docks. The drive took 35 minutes, traffic was light. Marco listened to sports radio, thinking about his sister Sophia's upcoming graduation. She was studying nursing, making something of herself. Marco was proud. As he got closer to the docks, the neighborhoods changed. Streetlights became scarce. Buildings were abandoned or industrial. Not many people around, just the occasional truck passing by. Marco's GPS guided him down a narrow street lined with warehouses. Rusty metal doors, broken windows, graffiti on the walls. The kind of area that looks different at night, feels different. He found Warehouse 34. Large building, maybe 50,000 square feet, corrugated metal siding, a few dim lights around the perimeter. The main entrance had a heavy chain and padlock, but there was a side door, just like Tommy said. Marco parked his van near the side entrance, grabbed the package. Checked his phone, 9:47 p.m. He walked to the door and knocked, no answer. He knocked again, louder this time, still nothing. Marco tried the door handle, it turned, the door creaked open. "Hello," he called out. "Delivery for Apex International, anyone here?" His voice echoed in the darkness. Marco stepped inside. That was his second mistake. But at this point, he was just doing his job, following instructions, trying to complete the delivery so he could go home. The warehouse was massive, dark except for a few work lights in the distance. The air smelled like oil and rust. Marco could see his breath in the cold. "Hello," he called again. "I have a delivery." Then he heard voices coming from deeper in the warehouse. Marco walked toward them. His footsteps echoed on the concrete floor. As he got closer, the voices became clearer, men talking, maybe 4 or 5 of them. And that's when Marco saw something he was never meant to see. Marco rounded a corner and stopped dead in his tracks. In the center of the warehouse, under bright portable work lights, were 7 men. They stood around a metal table. On the table were 2 briefcases, open, filled with cash, stacks and stacks of $100 bills. The men were dressed in expensive suits. Definitely not warehouse workers. Marco's heart started racing. Every instinct told him to turn around, walk away, pretend he never saw this, but he froze like a deer in headlights. One man was speaking. Tall guy, maybe 50 years old, graying hair slicked back, expensive watch, diamond pinky ring. His voice was calm but carried authority. We're not asking for much, Vincent, just respect. We control everything south of Brighton. That's the agreement, has been for 12 years. Another man responded, shorter, stockier, younger, maybe 35, designer suit, gold chain, spoke with a thick accent. Things change, Salvator, your territory is shrinking. Your operations are outdated. My family, we bring new opportunities, new connections. The old ways don't work anymore. Salvator smiled, but there was no warmth in it. The old ways built this city's foundation. Show some respect to those who came before you. Respect is earned, not inherited, Vincent shot back. The tension was thick. Marco could feel it from 30 feet away. Another man stepped forward, older than everyone else. Maybe 70, gray beard, wore a simple black suit. He spoke quietly, but everyone listened. Gentlemen, we're here to negotiate, not fight. Vincent, your family wants to expand into Brighton. Salvator, you want to maintain your territory. There's a solution that benefits everyone. This was clearly a mediator, someone both sides trusted. The shipment arriving next month, the old man continued. Split it, 50-50. Salvator handles distribution south of Brighton. Vincent handles north. You both profit. No conflict, no war. Marco watched as both men considered this. His hands were shaking. The package felt heavy in his arms. Then Salvator nodded slowly. Fine, but my cut comes first, and any problems with Vincent's people, he answers for it. Vincent nodded too. Agreed, but I want confirmation of the arrival date, and I want my people present when the shipment comes in, no surprises. Done, the old man said. They shook hands, formal, cold, business. That's when one of the other men standing guard saw Marco. Hey, who the hell is that? 7 heads turned toward Marco. Time seemed to stop. Marco's first instinct was to run, but his legs wouldn't move, like in a nightmare where you're stuck in place. 2 large men, clearly security, rushed toward him. Before Marco could react, they grabbed his arms. The package fell from his hands and hit the concrete floor with a thud. They dragged Marco toward the group under the lights. He didn't resist. What was the point? Salvator looked at Marco with cold eyes. Who is this? One of the security guys checked Marco's uniform. Delivery driver, fast-track logistics. I'm just delivering a package, Marco blurted out. I knocked, nobody answered, the door was open, I heard voices, I was just trying to find someone to sign for the delivery. Vincent walked closer, studying Marco's face. How much did you hear? Nothing, I didn't hear anything, I just got here. He's lying, one of the guards said. He was standing there for at least 2 minutes, watching. Marco's heart was pounding so hard he thought it would burst. Please, I don't know what's going on here, I'm just doing my job. I have a sick mother, a sister in college. I won't say anything to anyone, I swear. The old man with the gray beard stepped forward. He looked at Marco for a long moment. Then he looked at the package on the floor. What's in the package? He asked calmly. I don't know, I just deliver them. It's for Apex International Trading, this address. The old man picked up the package, examined the label. Then he looked at Salvator and Vincent. Either of you order anything through Fast Track? Both men shook their heads. The old man's expression changed. Concern. This is a setup. Someone sent him here. Someone wanted this meeting interrupted. Salvator's eyes widened. Are you saying? I'm saying this young man is a pawn. Someone used a legitimate delivery company to place a witness here tonight. The question is, who benefits from this meeting being compromised? Marco had no idea what was happening, but he understood one thing: he was in serious danger. Vincent pulled out his phone, made a call, spoke quickly in Italian, hung up, looked at the group. My people checked. Fast Track got an anonymous rush order, paid in cash, left at their drop box. Address specified Warehouse 34, tonight at 9:45 p.m. Someone set this up. Salvator cursed. So what do we do with him? He gestured at Marco. One of the guards spoke up. Same thing we always do with witnesses. Quick, quiet, problem solved. Marco felt his legs go weak. He was going to die here tonight because he took one extra delivery shift, but the old man raised his hand. No, killing an innocent delivery driver brings attention we don't need. Police investigation, media coverage, his family asking questions, too risky. So we just let him go? Vincent asked incredulously. He saw our faces, heard our names, knows about the shipment. The old man thought for a moment, then he looked at Marco. Young man, what's your name? Marco Rodriguez. Marco, you seem like a decent person. Wrong place, wrong time, I understand that, but you witnessed something tonight, something private. And that creates a problem for everyone here. Do you understand? Marco nodded frantically. Yes, I understand. I won't tell anyone. I promise. Promises are cheap, Salvator said. We need insurance. The old man smiled slightly. I agree, Marco. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to work for us, not full-time. You keep your regular job, but when we need something delivered, something picked up, you do it. No questions asked. You become our courier. Marco's mind raced. I don't understand. You want me to? We want you to do exactly what you do now, deliver packages, but for us. In exchange, you keep your life. You get paid well, very well, and your mother gets the best medical care money can buy, private doctors, experimental treatments, whatever she needs. Marco's eyes filled with tears. His mother, they were offering to save his mother. And if I refuse, Marco asked, already knowing the answer. The old man's expression didn't change. Then you're a liability, and we eliminate liabilities permanently. Vincent added, plus your family becomes a liability too. Marco felt sick. They were threatening Sophia, his mother. So what do you say, Marco? The old man asked. Do we have an agreement? Marco looked at each face. These were dangerous men, criminals, everything he stood against. But they were offering him a choice between death and survival, between losing his mother and saving her. It wasn't really a choice at all. Yes, Marco whispered. We have an agreement. And just like that, Marco Rodriguez became part of a world he never wanted to enter. The old man introduced himself as Dante, just Dante, no last name. He was, Marco learned, a mediator between crime families, a neutral party, respected by everyone. Dante handed Marco a burner phone. When this rings, you answer. When we text an address, you go there. You pick up or deliver whatever we give you. You don't look inside packages. You don't ask questions. You do your job, get paid, and forget it happened. Understood? Marco took the phone with shaking hands. Understood. Good, tomorrow, 6 p.m., you'll get your first real assignment. Don't be late. They let Marco leave just like that. He walked to his van in a daze, drove home, couldn't remember the drive. His mind was blank. When he got to his apartment, Sophia was still awake, studying at the kitchen table. Hey, you're late, she said, looking up from her textbooks. Everything okay? You look pale. Marco forced a smile. Yeah, long day, extra deliveries, I'm beat. Sophia smiled. Well, the extra money helps, right? Did you visit Mom today? No, I'll go tomorrow. She asked about you. She's having a good week. Nurses say her spirits are up. Marco nodded, felt guilt wash over him. What would his mother think if she knew what he'd agreed to? He went to bed but couldn't sleep, stared at the ceiling. The burner phone sat on his nightstand, silent, waiting. At 5:58 p.m. the next day, while Marco was finishing his regular route, the burner phone buzzed. Text message, 842 West 47th. Apartment 3C, pick up a package. Bring to 1523 Harbor Boulevard, side entrance, 8 p.m. Don't be late. Marco's hands trembled as he read it. This was real. This was happening. He finished his last regular delivery early, drove to West 47th. It was a decent neighborhood, middle-class apartment building. Nothing suspicious. Marco went to apartment 3C, knocked. An old woman answered. Had to be 80 years old. Grandmother type, kind face. Can I help you, young man? I'm here to pick up a package. She smiled. Oh yes, hold on. She shuffled away, came back with a small box, maybe shoebox size, taped securely. Thank you, dear, safe travels. Marco took the box. It was light, maybe 5 pounds. He had no idea what was inside. Don't look, don't ask, just deliver. He drove to Harbor Boulevard, industrial area, found 1523, another warehouse. This one had lights on, people working, side entrance like the text said. Marco knocked. A young guy opened the door, maybe 25, casual clothes, could be anyone. Delivery, Marco said simply. The guy took the box, handed Marco an envelope. For your time. Marco opened the envelope after getting back to his van, $500 in cash for driving 30 minutes and delivering a small box. His regular job paid about $120 for an 8-hour shift. This was insane. Over the next 3 weeks, Marco got 4 more assignments, each one similar. Pick up a package from one location, deliver to another. Sometimes the packages were small, sometimes larger. He never looked inside, never asked questions. Each job paid between $500 and $1,000. In 3 weeks, Marco made more money than he made in 3 months at his regular job. The money was incredible, life-changing, but it came with a cost. Marco couldn't sleep, lost weight. Jumped at every sound. Every time his regular phone rang, he thought it was police. Every time he saw a police car, his heart raced. Sophia noticed. You okay? You seem stressed lately. Just work. They're giving me a lot of overtime. That's good though, right? More money? Marco nodded, but it didn't feel good. It felt like selling his soul. Then on week 4, something changed. Marco's mother's nurse called. Mr. Rodriguez, your mother has been moved to a private room. And she's been assigned a new specialist. Dr. Catherine Morrison. She's one of the top oncologists in the state. Very expensive, very exclusive. Did you arrange this? Marco felt his stomach drop. Yes, I arranged it. Well, your mother is thrilled. Dr. Morrison is already talking about new treatment options. This is wonderful news. After the call, Marco sat in his van and cried. They kept their promise. They were saving his mother. But at what cost? That night, Dante called him on the burner phone. First actual call, not just a text. Marco, you've been doing good work, reliable, discreet, we're pleased. Thank you, Marco said quietly. I want to meet tomorrow noon coffee shop on 23rd and Lexington, corner table, come alone. The line went dead, Marco didn't sleep that night. The coffee shop was busy, lunchtime crowd, professionals in suits, students with laptops, normal people living normal lives. Dante sat at the corner table wearing a simple gray sweater. Looked like someone's grandfather, nothing threatening. Marco sat down across from him. Dante slid a coffee across the table. Black, no sugar, that's how you take it, right? Marco nodded, unsettled that Dante knew that. You've done 12 deliveries for us, Dante said. Never late, never asking questions, never any problems. That's rare. Most people, they start getting curious, start making mistakes. But not you. I just want to do what I agreed to and keep my family safe. Dante smiled. I know, that's why we're expanding your role. Marco's chest tightened. Expanding how? The packages you've been delivering, they're legitimate business materials, documents, contracts, nothing illegal, just sensitive, private business matters that certain people don't want going through normal channels. Marco didn't believe that for a second, but he stayed quiet. But there's another service we need, Dante continued. Information relay. Sometimes we need messages delivered verbally. Person to person, no phones, no texts, just you memorizing a message and delivering it exactly as told. Can you do that? You want me to be a messenger? A trusted messenger, you'd meet with various people, tell them what we need them to know, report back what they say, simple. It didn't sound simple, it sounded dangerous. These people, are they like you, like Salvatore and Vincent? Dante's eyes hardened slightly. These are businessmen, some legitimate, some less so, but all of them value discretion, all of them understand the rules. As long as you follow instructions, you'll be safe. And if something goes wrong, then we handle it, but nothing will go wrong, Marco, because you're smart, you don't take risks, you don't improvise, you do exactly what you're told, right? Marco nodded slowly. Dante pushed an envelope across the table. $5,000. Down payment for your first messenger job. Tomorrow night, I'll text you the details. $5,000, that was more than 2 months of his regular salary. Marco took the envelope. One more thing, Dante said, standing up to leave. Your mother's new treatment starts next week. Dr. Morrison is optimistic. She thinks your mother could go into remission. Isn't that wonderful? It was a reminder, a gentle threat wrapped in good news. They could save his mother. They could also take that away. Yes, Marco said. Wonderful. Dante left. Marco sat there for a long time, staring at the envelope. He was in too deep now. There was no going back. The question was, how much deeper would he have to go before it all came crashing down? Marco's first messenger job came the next evening. The burner phone buzzed at 7 p.m. Text from Dante. Memorize this message exactly. The shipment arrives Thursday, Pier 19, 11 p.m. Bring 6 people, no guns. This is neutral ground. Repeat it back to me. Marco read it 3 times, called the number. Dante answered. Repeat the message. Marco did, word for word. Good. Now you'll deliver that message to a man named Raymond Costa. He'll be at Luciano's restaurant, 9 p.m. Private room in the back. Tell the hostess you're there for the Costa party. Raymond will be expecting someone. When you deliver the message, he'll give you a response. Memorize it. Come straight to me afterward. I'll text you where to meet. Understood. Marco, this is important. Raymond is temperamental. Don't engage in conversation. Don't answer questions about where the message came from. Just deliver it and wait for his response. Clear? Clear. Good luck. Marco spent the next 2 hours rehearsing the message, over and over. He couldn't mess this up. At 8:45 p.m., he arrived at Luciano's, upscale Italian place, the kind with white tablecloths and waiters in vests. Marco felt out of place in his delivery uniform. The hostess, a young woman with perfect makeup, smiled professionally. Reservation. I'm here for the Costa party. Her smile faltered slightly. Of course, follow me. She led him through the restaurant to a hallway in the back, heavy wooden door. She knocked twice, then walked away quickly. The door opened. Large man. Had to be 6'5", 300 pounds, all muscle. He looked Marco up and down. You're the messenger? Yes. The man stepped aside. In. The private room was elegant, long table, expensive wine bottles. 3 men sat around the table. The man at the head was clearly Raymond Costa, mid-40s, handsome in a dangerous way, expensive suit, slick-back dark hair, eating pasta like he didn't have a care in the world. He looked up at Marco. You're not Dante's usual guy. I'm new, Marco said. Clearly, you look nervous. First time? Marco nodded. Raymond gestured to a chair. Sit, want some wine? No, thank you, I have a message for you. Of course you do. Raymond took another bite of pasta, made Marco wait, power play. Finally, he set down his fork. I'm listening. Marco delivered the message exactly as memorized, didn't miss a word. Raymond's expression didn't change. He thought for a moment, then smiled, not a friendly smile. Tell Dante Thursday works, Pier 19, 11 p.m. I'll bring 5 people, not 6, and I want confirmation that Salvatore will be there personally, no proxy. If Salvatore doesn't show, the deal's off. Marco repeated it back to make sure he had it right. Good memory, Raymond said. What's your name? Marco, well, Marco, you seem like a decent kid. Advice, get out of this business while you can. Nothing good comes from working with people like Dante, like me, like any of us, you understand. Marco was surprised by the advice. Yes, sir. Good, now get out of here and tell Dante he owes me for that shipment last month. Interest is adding up. Marco left the restaurant and immediately called Dante, delivered Raymond's response word for word. Good, Dante said. Come to Washington Square Park, north entrance. I'll be on a bench feeding pigeons. 20 minutes later, Marco found him. Dante did look like he was just feeding pigeons, old man enjoying an evening in the park. Marco sat down, delivered the message again to be sure. Dante nodded. Raymond wants Salvatore there personally. That's interesting. Either he doesn't trust proxies or he's planning something. He told me to get out of this business, Marco said. Dante chuckled. Raymond has a conscience sometimes, rare quality in our world, but he's right. This isn't a good life, Marco, but you're in it now. The only way out is if we let you out, and we're not letting you out, not yet, you're too useful. How long, Marco asked. How long do I have to do this? Until your debt is paid. What debt? I never borrowed money from you. Dante stopped feeding the pigeons, looked at Marco seriously. Your mother's treatment, do you know what that costs? Dr. Morrison charges $50,000 just for the consultation. The treatments, the experimental drugs, the private room, you're looking at $500,000 over the next year, maybe more. Marco felt sick. I never asked for that, you offered. And you accepted. That acceptance created a debt you'll work off by serving us. Don't worry, you're earning it back. At your current rate, you'll be free and clear in about 3 years, maybe 4. 3 to 4 years. Marco felt trapped, completely trapped. What if I run? Marco asked quietly. What if I disappear, take my mother and sister and just go? Dante smiled sadly. Then we find you and we make an example out of you, not just to you, Marco, to your family. Do you want your sister to pay for your mistake, your mother to suffer because you broke your word? Marco's eyes filled with tears. I hate you. No, but hate me or love me, you'll do what I tell you, because deep down you're a good person, and good people protect their families. That's what you're doing. Remember that. You're saving your mother's life. There's honor in that. Dante stood up, tossed the rest of the breadcrumbs to the pigeons. Go home, Marco, rest. You have another delivery tomorrow, and next week you'll deliver a much more important message, a message that could prevent a war or start one. Either way, you'll be at the center of it. Over the next 2 months, Marco's role expanded. He wasn't just delivering packages and messages anymore. He was becoming part of the infrastructure. Dante used him to communicate between families who didn't trust phones, to deliver payments that couldn't go through banks, to pick up information from legitimate businesses that were fronts for illegal operations. Marco learned things, too many things. He learned that Vincent's family controlled most of the drug distribution north of the city. That Salvatore ran protection rackets and illegal gambling operations. That Raymond Costa was involved in identity theft and credit card fraud on a massive scale. He learned that these families had legitimate businesses too, restaurants, construction companies, waste management. They cleaned their money through legal channels. Marco saw how deep the corruption went. Police on payroll, politicians taking bribes, judges who looked the other way. And Marco was part of it now, part of the machine. The money kept coming. His mother's health improved. Dr. Morrison was a miracle worker. Carmen Rodriguez went from bedridden to walking around the facility. Her color came back. Her strength returned. Sophia got a scholarship for her final year, didn't need to work 2 jobs anymore, could focus on studying. Everything in Marco's family life improved, but Marco was dying inside. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, jumped at shadows. Every knock on the door made him think it was police. Or worse, rival family members who might use him to send a message. Then in month 3, everything changed. Marco got a message from Dante. Emergency meeting, tonight 10 p.m., same warehouse where we first met. Come alone, very important. When Marco arrived, the scene was tense. Dante was there, Salvatore, Vincent, Raymond, and 3 other men Marco didn't recognize, all the major players in one room. Salvatore looked furious. Vincent looked worried. Raymond looked amused. What's going on? Marco asked Dante quietly. We have a problem, Dante said. A federal problem. The FBI has been investigating us. They have an informant, someone on the inside, someone who's been feeding them information for months. Marco's blood ran cold. An informant. Vincent stepped forward. We think it's one of your deliveries, one of the packages you picked up. Someone planted a tracking device. Led the feds right to us. Marco's world started spinning. No, no, I check every package. I follow every instruction exactly. Doesn't matter if you knew or not, Salvator growled. You're the common denominator. Every meeting you've been involved in, the feds know about. They're building a RICO case against all of us. RICO, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Marco knew what that meant. Long federal prison sentences, asset seizures, the end of everything. Raymond spoke up, calmer than the others. The question is, what do we do about it? All eyes turned to Marco. Dante stepped between Marco and the group. Marco has been loyal. He's done everything we asked. He hasn't made mistakes. If there's an informant, it's not him. How do you know? Salvator demanded. Maybe he's playing both sides. Maybe the feds got to him. They didn't, Marco said quickly. I swear I've never talked to any federal agents. I would never. Everyone says that, Vincent interrupted. Until they're facing 20 years in prison, then they sing like birds. Dante held up his hand. Everyone calm down. We're not making decisions when we're emotional. We need to think this through. I know how to think it through, Salvator said darkly. We eliminate the problem permanently. He was talking about killing Marco. Marco's legs went weak. This was it. This was how it ended. But then one of the men Marco didn't recognize spoke up. Older guy, had to be 60, distinguished-looking, gray suit. Killing the courier proves nothing, and it might make things worse. If he disappears and the feds are watching him, that confirms their suspicions. We need a different approach. Who the hell are you? Vincent asked. I'm Anthony Rossi's attorney. Mr. Rossi asked me to attend this meeting on his behalf. Anthony Rossi. Marco had heard that name. One of the most powerful crime bosses in the entire region. If his lawyer was here, this was serious. The lawyer continued. Mr. Rossi suggests we use Marco to our advantage. If the FBI thinks they have leverage, let's give them false information. Use Marco to feed them bad intel, lead them away from our real operations. Dante considered this. You're suggesting we double Agent Marco, make him a willing participant in misdirection? Exactly. He continues his deliveries, but some of what he delivers is bait, false evidence, fake meetings. We waste the FBI's time and resources while we clean up our actual operations. Marco listened to them discuss his fate like he wasn't even there. They were going to use him as a pawn in a war with federal agents. This couldn't get any worse, but it could, and it would. 2 days after that warehouse meeting, while Marco was delivering packages on his regular route, a woman approached him. She was in her 30s, professional, FBI badge clipped to her belt. Marco Rodriguez, I'm Special Agent Sarah Chen, FBI, we need to talk. Marco's heart stopped. This was it, everything crashing down. I'm working, Marco said, trying to stay calm. I don't have time. Make time. This is about your life and your family's life. Get in my car. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Marco looked around, empty street, no one watching, at least no one visible. He got in her car. Agent Chen drove around the block, parked in an alley, turned to face him. We know what you've been doing, Marco. We've been watching you for 2 months. We know about Dante, Salvator, Vincent, Raymond Costa. We know about the deliveries, the messages, all of it. Marco's mouth went dry. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me. We have surveillance footage, wiretaps. Financial records. We know your mother's medical bills are being paid by a shell corporation linked to organized crime. We know you're in deep. Marco said nothing. Here's the situation, Agent Chen continued.